I would like to take Scott Kinderman. I'd like to add one point to that I think people have talked about here is that if these organizations, you're hearing several of them have the possibility of closing their doors. And if these, some people may say, well, the VOCA funds will come back in a few years, we can just start them up again. And that's a tremendous fallacy, because in the process of these agencies closing down, the people will find other jobs. You will lose the connections of the staff members to the people of the community. You will lose the networks of people who know how to get things done will disappear. All the tribal knowledge that exists within these organizations will go away. So even if someone can step in and restart an organization when these funds become available, it's going to be years before it's effective again. All right? That is time lost for survivors. That is time lost when trauma will be absolutely destroying lives. Karen talked to the fact that there's a waiting list for these survivors, for our free services. That, when a person experiences that worst day of their life, then to be told that I have to wait 6 months to a year to begin my healing journey, you're re-traumatizing them over and over and over again every single day. All right? That speaks to why it is absolutely additional funds. I would love to say, hey, give us a huge budget that we can work with, because there are so many painful stories out there. I'm here for a second reason as well, is because something we have not heard yet from today of anybody testifying is a survivor. I am one of those 1 in 4 men or boys who experienced sexual violence. I'm a survivor. I was molested by 2 of my mother's boyfriends at the ages 11 and 12. Senator James, I wish to thank you so much for bringing this forward, because not only I was molested, but it was the result of generational trauma. My mother grew up in one of the towns that's in your district, Fall Creek, and at the age of 8, she was molested. And at that time, this is the late 30s, early 40s, nothing like any of the services that we're here to try and provide today existed. She was told to put on her big girl pants, get over it, and just deal with it. And that turned her into an exceptionally bitter, angry, and toxic person. And from that, my 2 older brothers, they were physically abused, mentally abused. And for myself, there's actually a huge age gap. It was mental abuse and the allowing of sexual abuse to occur. She is not the one who molested me, but she created the circumstances that allowed it to occur. And even for me, Senator Carpenter, you asked what happens when a child doesn't disclose or carries it. How long does it carry? Senator, I carried it for 35 years. I was molested at 11 or 12, and it wasn't until I was 47 years old that I began my healing journey. And I think I've come really far in that journey now. Karen spoke to, we have volunteers who go into the emergency room or staff our 24-hour crisis line. I'm one of them. I'm a person who the state allows to be the state-mandated advocate for a survivor when they're admitted to the emergency room. I am feet on the ground. And I'll tell you, the need is great for organizations, all right? I've stepped in and I've been there, and I have watched lives that were destroyed. And I know that that person who is sitting opposite of me will have to do years of work because of the actions of someone else. Years of work, just to possibly have a normal life back. And it's not going to be the life they had before. How many people have wished, I just want the life back I had? No, that's gone. All right? The services that BeLEAF offers and all the other sexual assault service providers in the state are to provide hope to rebuild. All right? I can also speak to some of the successes. I've been an advocate now long enough that in manning the 24-hour crisis line, I've been there long enough that sometimes I get repeat calls. I get a chance to talk to survivors who have called time and time again. My very first call when I became an advocate was a person who had no coping skills. And they They were beyond devastated. You might as well just, like, you ever see, like, the movie The Blob? They were just a blob of a person with nothing but emotions. I had the same opportunity to talk to that same person again right before Christmas this last year. And to see them, our conversation was, hey, I got relatives coming for Christmas that don't really know what's going on in my life. Can you help me create a plan to work with them? It is such an astounding difference when they can do the work of healing. And that's exactly what these organizations provide. They provide advocacy. They allow people to take the pieces of their shattered lives and rebuild them. Hopefully into something stronger and better. There are successes, and this is what we do, and this is why we cannot let this go away. This fiscal cliff is real. And there will be people who pay for this. When those services go away, you are enabling generational trauma, because one person won't heal. I speak to people inside of correctional institutions. Young men, I had an opportunity, I spoke in Racine to 50 young men inside the youth correctional facility there. Generational trauma is a thing. They don't know how to have the tools to heal because no one's been there to give it to them. Thank you. I will just conclude by saying these services allow, we've heard so many people talk about having a voice and being a voice, all right? These agencies are the voice for these people until the survivors can gain their own voice back again. And I do the work now of advocacy because for me, there was no voice. And I'm asking that you consider and support this bill so that all these voices in this entire state are there to work for the survivors and do not go silent. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Okay. Karen, Scott, thank you very much for